Christmas music. There it is. That's good, yeah. This is our number one of number two podcasts.
Yes. And yes, it took me that long to think of a Christmas song.
That's sad.
I know.
That's sad.
I love Christmas music too. Yes, I'm already listening to some of it. I'm not a full mix yet. I'm just winding it in a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. My family has a weird. Ariel will go straight up for. She'll listen to Christmas music after Halloween, but we're not allowed to decorate until after Thanksgiving.
I can vibe that.
I'm like, why are we doing this already? Give me all Christmas or none.
But I'll listen to Christmas year round. Like sometimes I'm just like,
no, you do not.
I need some holiday joy in my life right now. It's a dark season in February. Like, Christmas joy all the year.
I'm not judging you, and I love you.
Yes, she is. It's all over her face. For those that are not present in this room.
The only song I can listen to definitely in the summer is like Mele Kalikimaka. That's the only one.
I can play that on a ukulele. It's my sister's least favorite song, and it's the first one I learned on the ukulele she bought me. Fun fact.
That is fantastic.
Wow, now that we're learning things about Shannon. Anyway, this is number one. We're going to be talking about Christmas, and we're going to be talking about how to keep Jesus-centered Christmas in your family.
Yes.
Which is good, I think. Right? I mean,
I'm for
good.
it.
Yeah. It's like being like, you know what? We love Jesus more than we love the Easter Bunny on Easter.
Yeah. Easter Bunny's creepy, though.
I've seen more sketchy videos and pictures of Santa and the Easter Bunny than anything else.
True.
Like, you can go wrong. It can go sideways.
True.
Pretty heavy.
And the internet exists now to show us that.
Truth.
So this first one, we're focusing on keeping Christ-centered. Next time we'll be talking more about just the family tradition side of Christmas and things you can do there. But obviously we want to start with Jesus, since that's kind of what the holiday's about. And I thought it'd be fun to add up in and out, which Reed and Christina know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But for those of you out there that don't know what I'm talking about when I say up in and out.
It's our student ministry logo.
Well, that is true. It's more than that, though.
I was about to say, isn't our Whitewater?
But upside down.
It's something that's been long-term around here.
That unless you told me.
Yeah.
It's something that's been around for a while, but we're really starting to make it common vocabulary, staff and leaders, I'd say. And we want all of you guys to enjoy this because it's a really great way to look at your faith and how you grow as a Christian. And it applies in so many different avenues, one of which can be your family and how you stay a little bit more Jesus-centered. So up in and out is about the three main relationships that build your faith. This is the quick version. Up is your relationship with God. In is your relationship with other Christians. And out is your influence or relationship in your community. So whether that's your neighborhood, your school, the place you grocery shop, all the places that you exist as a human being, that's your community. So
yeah.
So let's start with keeping it Christ-centered in your up relationship, which is your relationship with God. And I think in the family world, it's how are you teaching your kid to keep their relationship with God? And obviously this ranges considering you could have an infant in your house and it could go all the way up into high school years and you mix and match those ages. So you might have a lot of crossover in where your relationships or how you're teaching your kids to have that up relationship. So what is something you do, Reed, to help your kids learn, especially around Christmas time, to keep it Jesus-focused and have that up relationship with God on a personal level?
Yeah, well, my kids are like in the one child is ankle biting the other child phase. So we're really focused on like how do we do the basic understanding of Christmas? Where did it start? What is it? Jesus' birth, what it means for us. And like here's like what has happened since then. here's where Christmas comes into play, like what it looks like now. Here's where Santa comes in, and that kind of thing. So we start, like, we're just like, well, but it starts with Jesus' birth. And so we're just like really intentional, I think, on how we describe it. Yeah, we get presents, but like, this is one of our ways of saying, like, we love the people around us. We love you. God's gifted you with his presence on earth. And so therefore we're giving you gifts too. And so we just try to make it where it's like what would be commercialism or what would be the material things. Like, how do we point all of it back to Jesus and why we receive it, even if it's made up of, like, you know, we're giving you presents because God, like, Jesus gave you a gift. That's true. I don't think most people would view it that way.
Right.
But like we want our daughter to view it that way and our son. So we want it to point back to Jesus, even if it, like, you know, cognitive development might tell you that it doesn't. And yeah, I love Christmas because we get gifts. Great. Yeah, that's true. We do get gifts, and I love that too. But here's why, and here's the reason. So we just try to point it back and give intentionality behind everything.
Yeah. What about you, Christina?
Yeah, I think so Emery's 7. She just turned 7, and Lucas is 4. So they are very much, what am I getting for Christmas? So I have to really refocus them a lot in why we're doing that, why we're giving the gifts, and just being intentional about it, and having those conversations. I think too, they watch us more than I think.
Yep.
And so every single thing that I do, yeah. So I even can tend to slip into these are the things that I have to do in the holiday, all the tradition of, but taking a step back and letting them see me spend time with God. And having, you know, prayer time together as a family, I think, is important.
Yeah. So right now I have no kids, but if you're in a boat like me where you're co-parenting and maybe you're in a Christ-centered home where Christmas is all about Jesus first and foremost, and then you do the other fun things, but maybe the other house isn't that Christ-centered or Christ-centered at all, it can be challenging, I think, at times. And so and this is one that I'll always have to walk a fine line with is how far do you explain the traditions of cultural Christmas to where they came from in the Christ-centered Christmas. So one of the things I'd always planned on until I actually became a foster parent and was like, oh, maybe this isn't a thing, but it might be beneficial for some of you families that you can do this kind of stuff. I like the VeggieTales Christmas video. If you've never watched that, it does a great job of explaining in kid-friendly ways why we do the things we do at Christmas time. So why we give presents, all the things you guys were just talking about. But I will say there is an explanation as to why we have Santa Claus, that he came from Saint Nicholas, how that transition happened, all of that stuff. So if you have a co-parenting thing, you don't want to break the magic of Santa Claus for your kids, or however you're vibing on that piece, maybe watch it first and see if that's going to make it difficult. But if you're a family that's like, we don't want to lie to our kids and, you know, we're not doing the Santa Claus thing, this would be a great way to help your kids understand why there are families that do Santa Claus without it being like they're going to run around being like, it's not real. Well, he kind of was real and all this kind of stuff. So that's one of the things I think you can do as a family is just focus in on how we got the traditions we did, because a lot of them stem from faith-based things. Like the gifts is an obvious piece, but the trees, the ornaments, Santa Claus, like all this stuff has roots in Jesus and why we do that, and good reminders of why we have that relationship with God and why we're doing all of this, I think.
Yeah, you know, there was a guy, there's also a Saint Nick, and he was in the meetings where they were developing one of the creeds, and he smacked a guy in the face. Because he was angry, he disagreed with his theology, and slapped him and left the meeting. take that for what it's worth.
Okay.
There it is. So
Maybe we should do that here.
yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah, and you could. One of the things that I love about the whole triangle up and out, anyway, is you can develop it into so many different ways. So you could also make it super simple, in a sense for this, like how up is our family's relationship with Jesus, and is our relationship with each other and our family, and then out is our family's relationship with how can we serve and what can we do and give out. So I love the fact that, like, yeah, everything we should be doing should be pointing to our relationship with Jesus. That's how we keep it as an up, is we're like, hey, this is, as a family, we love Jesus more than anything. And so therefore, like, everything we're doing is for him. Right. Everything that you see is his. So
yeah, and I'll be linking a couple things in the show notes that are additional resources that will help you a little bit more with that. I found some free Advent cards. So it's countdown to Christmas, like we all like doing, but it centers around different scriptures. It gives you an easy thing to read with your kids. It's not, let's read the whole 4-chapter section of the Bible that's the Christmas story. But it's just really easy snippets to create some conversation. And then some Advent experiences that we'll be making available to our whole church family. But if you want to do a true Advent with your kids, with the candles and all that, this walks you through a lot of what to say, things to do as a family, things to think about, just to give you something else to really center around your family's up aspect to the holidays.
I have never done an Advent calendar. I think I'm going to do it this year.
Okay.
You should.
I think this will be the year.
That's one of
and you're
Kinley's
Pinterest
favorite
mom,
things.
so like there's like 5 million different ways to do it.
I've definitely seen it. I've just never
That's one of my daughter's
it.
favorite things. She loves it.
Okay.
I don't know why she loves it, but she loves it. That's great.
Yeah, we had one that was reveal part of the like nativity scene. So every day we'd open a portal or picture window thing, and then at the end we'd have the whole nativity picture. So.
I'm committing.
Nice. I'm committing.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, and
let's
then
move
into the in section.
Let's move into the in.
And I think when you have family and especially younger kids, up and in kind of overlap a little bit.
They do.
Because they can't own their faith yet. So you're still teaching them that. So there's a lot of togetherness too. But in is your relationship with other Christians. So this could be extended family. It could be other Christ-centered families getting together.
Yeah. Even if you just talk about your family unit, it works. And let's be honest, very few people do in the way that you do in. You are a good in.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why this section's yours. Preach to us. Give us the in of your family.
Family? I mean, I don't know. I feel like when I like try to dissect it, and I sound flubbery like I am right now. I just spend time with my family. I don't know. We talk about it. We do stuff. I mean, I think what Shannon just said, their relationship, their in relationship is has to be kind of guided with me. So we have to do it together.
Well, and remind everybody of your new favorite saying, the busy and the hurry.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
We said it in our November podcast, but remind us again.
Yeah, if we're bringing up John Mark Comer, it's going down.
Was that a him quote? Because David said it in his message, and I wrote it down because this is something that speaks busy. It's okay to be busy, but not be in a hurry. And I struggle with that, so I really have to focus on. I have a lot of things to do, but I don't want to rush through those things. So
and I think Christmas time, that's the part of the year where we are the worst about busy and hurry, getting all kinds of mixed up.
It's the most joyful season, Shannon.
Or stressful, as most people would
parents,
see it. Because I mean, you have the work Christmas parties and the family Christmas parties and the extracurricular Christmas parties and the school Christmas parties, and like
dealing with your family.
Don't forget, we went to the Creation Museum last year. Like stuff like that is always super fun. The Christmas parades.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting excited.
Yeah, but see, from an outside perspective, and what I think is really funny is because I was just talking about this with somebody last week, is like sometimes our biggest struggles and our biggest pain points in life become strengths because we're always worried about it and we're always fixating on it. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that you're like, man, I'm always busy and so I have to be really intentional. Like it shows. Mm-hmm. It shows. It shows on how your kids love each other. It shows how your kids love other people. Like they're good at because you're focused on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'd say for me, the way that I structure life when it gets busy so that I can be intentional in those moments is I literally have to make sure it's on the calendar. Otherwise, I'm worrying about when is it going to happen. So if I make sure I have time blocked out to wrap my Christmas presents, I'm not worrying about it when I'm at the zoo with my kids enjoying the lights. And so there's intentionality behind what you're doing and when, but also making sure there's a plan so that you don't have to worry about it in all the moments where you should be present and with the people that you're with and enjoying that time. Yeah. So I think if you make sure it's all there, and we'll remind everybody, it's also okay to say no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. And I struggle with that one, too, because I want to do it all. And I want to do
don't we all?
But, yeah.
And that's the best part is everything flows together. So, like, it starts with, like, everything points back to Jesus. Everything is for Jesus, our relationship with Jesus, our family's relationship with Jesus. Okay, great. So that we love each other well. Now we know how to love each other, and now we know how to love our family. Now we know how to love our fellow Christians, our church, because this is the way Jesus loves us. Yeah. Great. So, I don't want us to just lose sight of the fact that, like, there's a reason why the triangle is connected. Yep. Like, it's a big deal.
And I'd say also, especially when you start having older kids that can kind of articulate what they do and don't like, ask them. Sometimes I think as parents, we think we have to do all of these things and do all the traditions because this is what I remembered and this is what made it
tradition.
Great. And if I don't, I'm a terrible parent and da-da-da-da. But, like, ask your kids. You might be doing a lot more things than you need to, and your kids are like, no, can we please just stay at home and watch a Christmas movie? Like, I don't need to do da-da-da-da-da-da. I just want to watch a Christmas movie with my family because I enjoy that. And it might help you out in the long run to decide what is worth it and what isn't.
This may get me in trouble, but I feel like you should evaluate your traditions every year.
Yeah,
agreed.
Some of them won't be sometimes you're going to create a new tradition, and it's okay. Yep. Like, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And especially as your family grows, sometimes those don't fit or work anymore. Or you move or.
Well, and I mean, we just hit some transition. So we had a lot of traditions centered around my grandma. And then when she passed away, like that next Christmas, it was, okay, so what are we doing now? She's not there to make the Heath Bar coffee cake. Are we still doing that? Like, which of course, yes. The answer is yes. I make that now because it's not Christmas without Heath Bar coffee cake.
As long as you bring that in, I'm good.
I should bring some in for
coffee
all
cakes.
staff.
Coffee cakes are my top 3 favorite things.
That is true. That was the first food I think you brought into the office to share.
I love coffee cake.
But we had to reevaluate, and then last Christmas we had kids. Like, me and my sister had kids, and so it was a whole reevaluate. Like, I don't think we're going to go up and spend the night like we used to with my parents. We had to reevaluate that whole thing and what family moments stay and what family moments change, and it's okay because. Life changes, and you have to be okay with rolling with the punches.
Yeah, and honestly, like, isn't that the best part? Like, what if you went into every single holiday season with the mindset of, like, this could be the last year that we do it this way, and, like, to cherish it. That, like, I feel like that's so powerful too, to have that mindset every single time, and maybe even might help you slow down. Of, like, this might be the last time that we get to experience it this way, and I love it this way, but next year might not work out.
Because one day I'm going to have kids that don't want to go to the zoo for Festival of Lights.
No, that will never happen.
That will never happen in my house.
Yeah, that will never happen.
Okay, we've hit some hard boundary lines.
We're stepping on toes.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about we should evaluate our traditions, that's one that we aren't.
We're not.
That's one we aren't
So
evaluating.
if you're looking for some new traditions, here's a short list of some things that I came up with that still keeps it Christ-centered. Yeah, zoo light. That'll be more in the next podcast. Yeah. We'll talk about that. But if you make a nativity as a family, so Pinterest will give you 1.5 million ideas how to make a nativity out of trash, basically, things laying around your house. But that could be a fun family moment that keeps it Christ-centered. I've seen, instead of Elf on the Shelf, people let the wise men travel to baby Jesus throughout the month. So kind of elf-ish, but it's the wise men. We always hid baby Jesus because my mama was very insistent that baby Jesus was not here until Christmas Day. So why would he be in the nativity? So she hid him around the house, and we had to find him. So that was a fun Christ-centered one. Learn about some of the traditions of Christmas. Like we said, those are a lot of times out of Christian symbolism and tradition. And go to Living Nativity.
They have one in Eden Park.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
Creation Museum has a good one.
Cool. And their outside stuff is free at Christmas time, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. So there you go.
Score.
Now moving to the out.
The out.
Focusing on others and your community.
The out.
Which is easier this time of year than
it's the best.
Others because everybody's providing opportunities and wanting you to give things to
True.
Not yourself.
Yeah. Yes. And that's like our church's focus of like Operation Christmas Child. Like somebody asked me like, why would we do that? And I was like, why wouldn't we do that? Right. Like this might be one of the only times that like a kid gets something for them that was thought about for them. Like
specifically.
I'm like weirdly in that zone of like this box is God ordained to go to this kid. Like that's just true. Like I just feel like it's totally true. And so there's you also have a family that's like this box, and it's like you were gifted with a family. And there's so many people that don't have that gift. What better way than to share your family in some way during this season or do something together to where you can enjoy that or lift that up in a sense of like, Jesus, thanks for what you've given us.
I know. I'm sad that my kids weren't with us this year since this is the first year we've done it at the church because I think that would have been so beneficial.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, we went overboard with Christmas last year, so it would have been beneficial to give them a chance to pick out and choose to give things away. I
think that happens when you're first time parent or new parents. Sometimes you go a little overboard, and so then I think that fades over time, and you're like, we don't really need all of this. But it's also, I had to train both the grandparents too because they're the only grandkids they have. So I have to say no.
Right,
it's okay. Like my son's cool with getting a rock.
Yeah,
like we don't need to go.
Emery was painting a box the other day, and it was fantastic.
We don't need to go ham on this.
Have you guys watched why did I just lose the name of the movie? Never mind. Continue.
but even then, like I think there is so much power in too of like maybe, and we do a little bit of thinking on like maybe we should not only give gifts where it's like this physical, tangible thing, but like how can we speak to each other's love languages during these seasons, like acts of service or even like physical touch or words of affirmation, and be like, well, here's another gift that I can give you that you really appreciate. And then hopefully that teaches our kids too of like seeing people as individuals and then trying to meet their needs by giving them different types of gifts. Some are totally free and some aren't in a box and shaped like this, but there's so many different ways to give gifts.
Right. And I mean, that's kind of the heart around the Solve 7 and really identifying those 7 things so that it gives you something to help your kids zone in on. I mean, it wasn't specifically a kid thing that it was developed for, but it can be overwhelming to say help people. Well, what, how, what, where? So look at some of the Solve 7 stuff and have your kids pick out like, hey, this is one of the things we want to help this Christmas and give them buy-in to it. Like I said, it feels like every organization known to man is giving you an opportunity to be a part of solving the problems that they're solving this time of year and giving your kids the opportunities to really buy into that. I know some families, if you really are struggling to give gifts because everybody has everything they could possibly want or need, choosing to give that money to an organization or utilizing it to benefit somebody else, if you want to go to the total out extreme. Or just setting aside a day and saying, like, this is the day that we help people and not ourselves would be, I'd say, an easy starting point for families.
Yep. I think that is a good thing about having a church community because I mean, if I were doing this on my own, I wouldn't have the first clue of where to start.
Yeah.
Right.
How to get involved. But opportunities like Toy Store and Operation Christmas Child, I love the fact that one is global and one is local, and how far our reach goes, and being able to explain that to kids, my kids, but to let them get involved in some of those projects through our church community is great.
And I mean, the fact we're doing Operation Christmas Child is just proof to how generous our church family is this time of year. Like, Toy Store has gotten to the point where it's like we're running out of things to do with the overflow.
Yeah.
So let's also add in this other thing to spread out the generosity, because like we have an amazingly generous church, and I personally love our partner that the extra Toy Store toys are going to.
Yes.
Because it's a trauma therapy farm that does a lot of work with foster care kids.
And
so obviously,
this is the first year we've done that.
Yeah, and I didn't even know this farm existed. I was like, I'm putting that on my saved list. I'll probably be using it in the future. But I looked at this farm and everything, and it's just a fantastic opportunity for kids to experience up in and out in their own personal life after they've been traumatized. They're learning how to care for these animals, and learn how to express love, how to receive love, because animals are just open in that area, and they're getting the therapy to process all of their emotions that have happened through the whirlwind of their life at the same time. And so it's a great partner organization that I'm super excited about. But lots of generosity going on around here. But I'd recommend, if you're not really sure where to start, obviously you can always reach out to any of us here. We'll help direct you. But look at the the 7 little problems and say, hey, what's something that our family cares about?
True.
And investigate in that space too. So
yeah, that's the best part, is it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be over the top. Like, that's the best thing about kids and student ministries. Is like, that's how we partner with your family. We're trying to work really hard to make things really simple, to understand, to feel, to do, to like achieve. So just look for those ways, like in your family too, of how do we make this incredibly simple, so that way we get the point across that, our family above all else loves God. Our family above all else, we love each other. We also love other people. And like that, in the simplest form, is what we're trying to achieve.
One of the funnest things that we did, we started around Christmas time, and it was around Christmas time, but we did a 4-Hour Street series. And now it's like a thing for the kids. I leave goodies on the porch for our delivery drivers.
Oh, fun.
We order often, and around the holidays, it's more often.
There's videos of this. I can confirm.
Well, we have a basket full, a 10, I guess, I don't know. But it's full of goodies for the drivers, waters, or just a little snack that they can grab and go. And so, speaking of something simple the kids can do, they make sure that that is filled for the drivers to enjoy, which I love.
Yeah, and sometimes your son runs after the truck.
That is true.
Yeah.
To make sure that they got their treat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
that's up in and out at Christmas time with your family.
Up in and out at Christmas time with your family.
It applies year round, but
I feel like I need to say that now too. Up in and out, Christmas time with your family.
That's it, right there. That's it.
So we'll be back in a couple weeks to go over the more relational, traditional side of Christmas and what that might look like and how to navigate that. We touched on a little bit, but
and the parenting square.
We'll go.
And the fruit-to-root tree. And the
Reed just wants to pull out all the stops, give you all the tools and resources.
It's my favorite tool.
Yeah,
we'll have to highlight that coming up soon.
And we're gonna do the Kairos circle, and we're gonna do. Let's keep on. All right. Well,
okay, before Reed goes overboard.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.